about how the Constitution is amended. Yesterday, when we were looking and examining the amendments in Section 2, one of the things that we talked about is, okay, how is it amended? So, let's find our Constitution in our textbook. Let's do that now. Okay, you're going to find, I believe you're going to find the Constitution. Just a second. You're going to find what we're looking for on page 68. We're going to find what we're looking for on page 68. Yes, ma'am. I know. I understand.
Someone wrote we should do it.
Okay. In any event,
That's why it's upstairs.
let's go back right now. Ladies and gentlemen, we're focused. Right now we're focused. Article 5. Remember that the Constitution is divided like a book. The preamble is the introduction. The chapters are the articles. Each article has a specific topic it talks about. So, Article 1 talks about Congress and the powers of the U.S. government. Article 2 talks about the executive branch. Article 3 talks about the judicial branch. Those are the justices in the court. We're going to jump to Article 5. Article 5 explains how the Constitution can be amended. I saw a statistic, I believe yesterday, on the number of amendments that have been proposed from the time that the Constitution was ratified until, I believe, the 1990s. And there were 888 amendments proposed in that period of time. Now, if we look on page, on page 81, you can see that the total number of amendments that we have, the total, that means all of the amendments that we have, and I understand that some of you may be okay at reading Roman numerals, some of you may not, is 27. 27 amendments. 888 proposed, 27 actually passed. But let me make that number a little bit more interesting. The first 10 amendments came in with the Constitution. Remember, it was the deal to ratify it. Federalist, anti-federalist, don't want to, don't want to, don't want to. How about if we add a Bill of Rights? Okay. Bill of Rights is the first 10 amendments. So, from the time that the Constitution was ratified, we really have only had 17 additional amendments that have become law. Now, Gabby, does that suggest to you that amending the Constitution is easy or difficult? And tell me your reasoning process in arriving at the fact that you think it's difficult. So many what? There's only 27. The what? The amendments are like a sentence, 2 sentences. Some are a small paragraph. Even you guys, if I said, we have a writing assignment and it's an essay. What's an essay? How many paragraphs? Oh, okay, only 1. You know that's not an essay, but I say 1, you're going like, great, we can do that. Okay? You can write a paragraph. Most amendments are about a paragraph long. So, but why, does anybody agree that it's difficult to amend the Constitution? Raise your hand. Okay, why would you say that it's difficult?
Because if there were 180.
I'm sorry, what?
If there were 180 amendments proposed and only
880.
880 proposed and only 27 got chosen, it shows that many.
17.
Really, 70. she's right about 27 in total, but only 17 since the Constitution came into effect. Listen, Brown.
It's difficult because if that's like the popular, like I said, if only 17 were chosen, like people have to agree on it. in order to-
There is an assumption that it's very difficult because there's very few. So, and that's, by the way, those, what we've just discussed are called analytical skills. We've just learned a new fact, and we plugged in that new fact into what we knew. In other words, if there's 88, there's only 17, it must be difficult. Okay? You plugged what you knew, that if it was easy, it would have been closer to 888. If it was difficult, it would be much less. 17 is much less. So that's deductive reasoning. Okay? Reasoning from what you knew, new fact incorporated, gave you a new answer. But now we get to examine the reality. Now we get to examine what is the structure. What is the structure? Or how is the Constitution amended? Eddie, before we get there, I need a basic number. Okay? This is plainly memorization, and you're good at memorization. So how many senators do we have?
21.
At one point in time, we only had 21 state. Well, we've never had 21. Why have we never had 21? Why?
Does it have to be an even number?
Why does it have to be an even number?
There's 2 per state.
That's
51.
correct, 2 per state. So,
100.
so how many? 100 senators.
102.
Okay. Okay, we have 100 senators.
No, but we have 102 because of Hawaii. Hawaii is
Hawaii
a
is a
state.
Okay, Hawaii 5-0 is a show, right? That means that Hawaii is the 5-0 stands for 50, is the 50th state.
No, but what's the place that we're debating that
Puerto
Puerto
Rico.
Rico? Puerto Rico.
Okay, but it's not a state yet,
It's
so
not
we have
part of
100. Okay, and we don't call people names.
Shut your
All
mouth.
right, so a more difficult memorization question. There's 100 senators because there's 50 states, and we figured out that in that great compromise that we had been talking about, the small states got what they wanted, which was equal representation. Now, the big states got what they wanted in the House of Representatives. How many members are there in the House of Representatives? You know?
I think, like, didn't they show it on the video? That we
I'm
watched?
sure that they've shown it, and I'm sure that I've said it.
Isn't it like 300? Like
No, it's a little bigger number.
400?
Yes.
200. 500.
There are exactly, yes,
432.
okay? Add 3 to that.
135.
135.
Okay, good, good.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
Alright, okay,
No, that's senators and then
Alright.
House of Representatives.
that's the whole thing. In the House of Representatives, as you learn, the big states got what they wanted, which was representation based on the number of people that live in that state. Florida has, of that 357, Florida has 27 because of the number of people that live in Florida. We get 1 representative every so many. In Alaska, I believe that they may have 1 because they have very few people live in that area. So that's how it works. But the reason that I need to know, Alexander, the reason that I need to know the number is because now I'm going to take those 2 numbers, 105 and 435. There's 435. Did I say it not different?
Yeah.
It's 435. I apologize. 435 members of the House of Representatives. There's 100. So together we have how many people in Congress? 535. Now, that's a number we're going to have to keep in our mind. 535. 535. Can you keep that number in your mind?
535.
All right, this is like a magic trick. You gotta keep that number in your mind.
Just remember it backwards. If you don't remember 535.
Yes, it's the same number forwards and backwards. Thank you very much.
Thank you, man.
All right, now, having that number in mind, let me read to you Article 5, which talks about amending the Constitution. It tells you how you can do it. You can read in silence as I read aloud. It says, page 68, very top.
Which is Article 5? That Article B.
Okay, yes, Roman numeral 5 is the letter V as in Victor. And it says this: the Congress, whenever 2/3 of both houses shall deem it necessary. Now we know why we needed that number, 535, right?
Yes.
What is 2/3 of 535? Very quickly in my mind, it's 357. I knew that because I cheated and I did the math on Google earlier. It isn't that I'm a math whiz, but you can believe that I'm
That
a
doesn't count.
math
That
whiz.
doesn't count, man.
You're a math
So-
whiz.
So you need 357 Congress people, senators and House of Representative members, 2/3. It says, the Congress, whenever 2/3 of both houses shall deem it necessary, shall propose an amendment to this Constitution, or on the application of the legislatures of 2/3 of the several states. So there's two ways. One is 2/3 of both houses say we need this amendment. That's a way of proposing it. 2/3 of the people have to say we need an amendment. We can't get 2/3 of this class to agree on a color of a t-shirt. It's difficult to get 2/3 of that large group of people to agree. So now we begin to understand why there's been so few amendments. But there's two methods. You either need 2/3 or 2/3 of the legislatures of the several states. So you take the 50 states and let's see, about 33, and I might be wrong in my math, 33 of the states, of the 50 states, have to ask for an amendment. 33. 2/3 of the legislatures of the state shall call a convention for the proposing amendment. So 2/3 say, look, we think that the Constitution should be amended. Let's call a convention. What's a convention? A convention is exactly what happened when they approved the Constitution. Okay, 2/3 of the states say, let's call a convention, and they send people to get together to talk about amending the Constitution, which in either case shall be valid to all intents and purposes as part of this Constitution, when ratified by the legislature of 3/4 of the several states. All right. Now we've got it proposed. 2/3 of Congress, 2/3 of legislatures, plus a convention. Now that you've got it, you've got them doing the amendment, then you've got to send it to each of the states. And then you need 3/4 of the several states. 3/4, 3 out of every 4 of the states have to ratify the amendment, or by convention in 3/4 thereof, as the one or the other mode of ratification may be proposed by the Congress. In other words, it's extremely difficult. If the math is swimming inside your head and you're kind of going like, what is it that we have to do? Let me reduce it to human terms. A lot of people have to agree that the Constitution needs to be changed. Now, add to that dynamic the fact that these people belong to different political parties. Add to that dynamic that right now, if the Republicans say yes, the Democrats say no. If the Democrats say yes, the Republicans say no, right? You know, everybody agrees, we need reform in immigration. Democrats and Republicans. But they can't agree on getting reform done. So the president says, I'm going to do it on my own. He's a Democrat. The Republicans in Congress say, no, you can't. Yes, I can. No, you can't. Yes. So imagine trying to change the fabric of the laws of the United States. Let me tell you some amendments